such great distance that I find perplexing, as normal line-of-sight methods would have been hard put to reproduce it, crossing broad waterways and territory of varying altitude. Hidden within this chart are some results that are crucial to promoting the case for remarkably precise surveying being the province of the ancient British. Quite apart from the high number of aligned features equidistant from Wellow, there are as many as 12 positioned at the same distance from this fine dormitory. In addition, there are 2 that are separated by twice the distance of the other 12, indicating that fixed increments were adopted, something we know to be true from calculations where other units are concerned. It would be wrong to conjecture that such distances represent, say, a day's travel, as the values vary from one generator to another, and seem to be more concerned with where the generator is strategically on the landmass. Nevertheless, fixed distances abound from Wellow to all points of the compass, and must be considered highly significant when building the case for geometric foundation. Wellow was impressive. Glastonbury Tor more so, yet not surprising, as it sits so beautifully positioned and prominent on its Isle of Avalon to act as a sentry, a signpost or a beacon to all points in the west and southwest of England, including the Scilly Isles. Glastonbury has always been recognized as an important node in the prehistoric firmament, and this display makes it abundantly clear. Triangulation in all its forms appears to emanate from this romantic landmark, and the Somerset levels that in prehistoric times would have been submerged by seawater from the Bristol Channel. That it should stand so tall and conspicuous in an otherwise featureless, drenched landscape of the time is due either to an aberration of nature or again the hand of man, perhaps a combination of the two. But certainly the earliest surveyors took full advantage of its situation to dominate, control, and link the entire southwest with the rest of the south of England and Wales. Now, this I rarely mention for fear of ridicule, but the work we're examining is of such profound quality, such high quality, that assistance by or intervention from some outside agency has often hovered in my mind. Could those we have always considered primitive have been capable of creating such an advanced network, or were they assisted or directed from without? Are there any clues to suggest the hand of others with a more, perhaps a futuristic grasp and technological expertise? Could these delta wing aerofoil formations offer us a glimpse? Remember, every site of which these advanced designs are formed is a registered antiquity under the protection of English heritage, is fully documented and specifically acknowledged and labelled on our latest Ordnance Survey maps. There can be no misleading of information, and every diagram placed before you is set on an exact photo-digital copy of the original master. It is extraordinary geometry, unlike any other to be found elsewhere, being faithful, all-embracing, so advanced in execution, yet believed by generations of trained experts to be the rambling endeavours of basic primitive humans. The boomerang or delta aerofoil device is recognized as being the most efficient yet simple design associated with flight. Yet here we see it in abundance mirrored on the British landscape. And have you spotted that each lower wingtip forms the Cornwall to Kent alignment that I stumbled upon in my youth? The work of primitives? Again, the distances involved that make such formations possible are all logged on this chart, although easier to read when projected at larger scale. It is the distances you see calculated that perhaps offer the most significant clue, because as accurate and matching as they are flat plane as measured above the ground, not geographic to account for hills and valleys to be traversed. It's worth repeating, flat plane as measured above the Earth's surface. We have witnessed triangulation and alignments associated with specific subjects, but is there anything that reaches across the board, east to west and north to south, embodying all that we've witnessed so far? The bigger picture, as it were. There are many, but this should suffice to cement the proposition already submitted of a geometric device that reaches all corners of our irregularly shaped landmass with exact equidistant triangulation, starting in Wales and finishing in Kent, but as always paying respect to Silbury Hill. This is geometry on a vast scale, geometry that is imaginative and sophisticated, geometry that is truly prehistoric. Apart from the obvious visual symmetry of the layout, there are refinements that might escape the notice of the casual viewer. The double triangle, for example, first of Gwehelog in Wales to its apex Bredon on the Hill and back down to Silbury Hill, then extended to Long Cairn in Wales, go back up to Bredon Hill and return through Silbury to Chiselbury Camp on the Salisbury Plain. Add to this the triangle side that starts at Hart Hill Moor Stone Circle in the far north in Derbyshire and run to its base at Horton in Gloucestershire, but then continues on without deflection at all to form the side of another isosceles at Beacon Knap on the south coast of Dorset, from top to bottom of our map. Similarly, Maiden Bower to Egbury, a distance of 89.207 kilometres, continues in a perfectly straight line a further distance of 89.566 kilometres to form the side of a more southerly triangle with apex at Donington Barrow. Quite superb plotting by the elders of 3 high-altitude sites aligned and equidistant, including crossing the Thames at the lowest point on its 180-kilometre journey. All this to say nothing of the baseline through Wales to Lundy Island being able to project the 200 miles and more to Kent. Perhaps, though, the most telling feature lies along the string from Wales through Silbury to Four Hill Tumulus on the Sussex coast. This line provides the base vertices from which spring at least 7 isosceles triangular formations from Four Hill Tumulus to Oak Hanger Tumulus, Egbury, Silbury Hill, Horton, Broad Rock in Wales, Gwehelog, and Pendinos Loch Dyn, and in itself confounds the doubters by placing those stations at fixed increments or multiples of these increments from the Welsh west coast through Silbury to the South Sussex coast, a phenomenon I would suggest is beyond the refuge of coincidence. Could this possibly be chance, coincidence, or what the unbelieving mathematicians term statistical probability? If, like me, you enjoy finding formal designs where none was supposed to exist among the seemingly muddled assortment of antiquities in Britain, then you will take pleasure in the next 2 arrangements on offer. One of the criticisms levelled at my work by the educational establishment is that, due to the number of sites available, it would be possible to construct any pattern. Naturally, I disagree with this, and I disagree on the basis that when I head off to any particular point in the compass, I'm naturally disregarding and moving away from the vast majority of prehistoric units, and setting targets that are often quite remote and detached from the main body. I have deliberately selected 2 such features, isolated by several kilometres from any other, and by way of the next 2 visuals, I'm able to show that regardless of distance and such remoteness, the ancient surveyors were well able to create aligned trackways paired with exactitude that arrived without deviation at the chosen destination. The first